Morning. Welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and we're live in Seattle, Washington. And today I want to talk a little bit about a mysterious subject, a mysterious man who appeared to me and my dog a couple years ago. It's kind of in the spirit of celebrating the mysterious at Halloween, but this is a real thing that happened, and I learned something from it, and I want to share it with you today. So again, welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and a certified past life regression specialist based in Seattle, Washington. So hi, everybody. Feel free to chime in and say hi, wave at us all. It's my pleasure to be here with you every Monday morning in Seattle. And so today I want to talk a little bit about this mysterious thing that happened with me and my dog, a little bit about having fun with Halloween, except this really happened, and we're going to get into that. I want to take 2 questions for quick intuitive readings from people, and I'll share Crystal of the Week with you as well. But let's get started today, as always, with a quick meditation with the crystal Fallon. Fallon is citrine Lemurian quartz, and as you can see, very beautiful, ancient healer and truth bringer. So if you take your attention to the top of your head, just imagine you're connecting mind, body, and spirit here, giving yourself a boost for the day and even the week. So as you breathe down from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, just let all the cares of the day wash away. So down from the top of your head, down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And just feel yourself settling in for this time together with everyone in community. Feel the cares of the day wash away. And as you breathe out from your bottom of your feet to the top of your head, you're welcome to invite this healing energy that is from the crystal Fallon into your body. So breathing up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head. So just feel that this energy line ran down from the top of your head to your feet and back up again. Just fill you up with healthy, positive energy. A good boost for a Monday. So I want to share the story with you. And again, I'm willing to take 2 quick questions from people for really brief intuitive insight. And of course, I'll share a crystal of the week with you. But my dog, Ollie, is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. They're small, 20-pound black dogs. And Ollie was about 1 when we were walking down the street at night, kind of last call before bedtime. And I live in a beach community, so the sidewalk that I was walking down on one side was wide open to the ocean and looking down over the ocean. So there's no one who could come from that direction that time of day. They weren't swimming or kayaking or anything. And on the other side, there was a street and a few apartment buildings on the other side of the street. Now, I live in a city, so we all need to be aware of what's going on around us. There was no one else out with us that night. And as we walked down and we turned around to come back home, there was a man standing there on the sidewalk. And I'm used to people really loving my dog, and my dogs are very sociable creatures. And my young dog, he's 3 now, he was about 1 at the time. He loved people. And so I'm used to people making a fuss over my dog and pretty much ignoring me. So this man, but this man was kind of struck me as different right off the bat. I wasn't afraid of him or anything. I had nothing coming off of him that I felt a threat. It was just different. I hadn't noticed him behind us before we turned around, and he completely ignored me. He walked up to my dog and he said to me, as he was focusing on my dog, he said, "I need to talk with your dog." And I'm like, I'm used to that, right? So I'm paying attention. And the man squats down so that he's close to Ollie, because Ollie's only 20 pounds. And so he squatted down. And the next thing I noticed is that they were completely focused on each other. It was like I wasn't there, no one else was there. It was just the two of them, and their eyes were locked on each other. The man didn't try to touch him. Ollie didn't come any closer. They were just like frozen, staring at each other. And I thought, usually Ollie's excited about them, or people are excited about him, and there's a lot of petting. But nope, they were just completely focused. It was like they were having this conversation and I wasn't part of it. The next part kind of surprised me, because I started noticing that the air around us was kind of shimmering. It was just like, this is dark outside, and the air had changed. That's the only way I can describe it. It was like surrounding them was this like bubble of air, and I was completely excluded from it. Again, I wasn't worried about it. I could hear my own spiritual team going, they're fine. And then it was all over. The man stood up again, did not look at me at all. But I was realizing something was going on between the two of them, and I was a little puzzled. And as the man stood up, he walked away from me. And as he walked past me, behind me, he said, your dog has an important job to do in the world. And he said, he has an important job to do in the world. And I'm like, okay, I knew that. Very few people knew that. And I'm like, wait, what? It was just such an odd coincidence, or not coincidence, such an odd situation that these two had been focused on each other. Their air was shimmering around them. It was like they were in their own little communication bubble. And then when the man said he has an important job to do and walked by me, I thought, oh, wait, I hadn't said anything about Ollie's job, which I knew about before he came, which is why I welcomed him home to me again in a new body. My dog is a reincarnation. I said, wait, and I'm like, stopped. And so maybe 5 seconds went by before I turned around to say something to the man, and he was gone. There was no one behind us. There was no one on the street. It was not possible for him physically to have gone somewhere in those few seconds, and yet he was gone. And I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, thinking about it and looking at it and looking at Ollie, and I realized we had just met Ollie's spirit guide in a physical body. And my spirit team, my own spiritual team, was confirming that. And I'm like, wait, what? So I just wanted to share that story with you today, because it was mysterious, and, it's Halloween, but I'm coming up here. But on top of that, it's just a reminder, we think we're alone in the world, and we're not. We all have a spiritual team. If we're lucky, we have other people in our families, human or animals. We have friends. And hi, everyone. Thanks for joining in here. But to have a spirit guide just suddenly show up in a body like that and have this amazing connection with this dog, and there was just complete respect and acceptance on both sides. And it just reminded me how mysterious the world really is, and how when we just throw ourselves into our lives and try to do the best we can, how sometimes we get, confirmation that the world is really cool. So be grateful for the moments that you have that allow you to appreciate the ones you love and the others who appreciate them. Every day for 20 years, I've been out on the street with a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Ollie's my third. And I appreciate the people that just get a big kick out of him and love him and want to pet him, and he loves other people. And it reminds you that we hear a lot of really crappy things about things that are going on in the world. But the truth is that we can all create community, and we can all come together. And then sometimes those mysterious stories, like my dog meeting his spirit guide, and, clearly they were excluding me from the entire conversation. So just help your family members meet their spiritual teams. Help them be their best by, just doing the simple things of creating space for all of you to be the best that you can in your spaces, in your home, at work. And that's really all I wanted to share with you today. I remembered that story as I was thinking about what we could talk about today. Um, it was fun. Yes, you're right, Joyanne. Oh, I love that. Um, Things that make our life cool, right? And it was funny. It's right, Joan Marie, funny story too, right? I was like completely clueless that I was meeting Ollie's spirit guide until the air started to shimmer, and then I realized, wait, they're completely ignoring me. And you're right. Sometimes we have a tendency to think there isn't anything out there as important as humans. But here was a spirit guide who had manifested in a physical body to have a conversation with my dog. And I recognized it at the time as sacred. And I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that I was there to be present and witness that. So we may not all, in fact, I've never heard of another story of a spirit guide being in a physical body, but I'm sure it's happened before. But I just wanted to share that with you just to give you an idea of how awesome the world really is and how awesome each of us is in being able to just celebrate each other, especially in this kind of community that Om Times has created for us. Say again regarding your dog being a reincarnation. Well, thank you for asking, Judy. I actually didn't explain more than that. It turns out that all of the animals that I have shared my life with over the course of my entire life are reincarnations. And the soul that keeps coming back in my dogs, the same soul keeps reincarnating in my dogs, and the same soul is reincarnated in my two cats. And so Ollie is now my Oliver, my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and Karis, my Russian blue cat, are young. Ollie's 3, the cat's a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, and they're reincarnations of their previous bodies, so to speak, dog body and cat body. And they had work to do in the world, and they came back and they just were able to do it in my household. And I consider myself blessed to be able to share space with them and a home with them and to support them just like they support me, which is what families are all about, right? Right. And I talk more about this in my upcoming book about the afterlife. And yeah, but my story's true, Diana. But that's one thing. Ollie's job or Karis's job wasn't really about me. It was about their service to the planet. And they needed a place to come where they would be supported in doing that. So I hope, again, just sharing this story with you, you'll look around at your family members, your friends, animals, trees, your home, really, and what is it here to do? How is it growing its soul in that particular body? How can you assist it? How can they assist you? And that's what family is all about. And that's what this family here that Om Times has created for us to share. Yes, it is true. And there are always going to be people who don't believe us and don't believe our experiences. But, maybe that's their loss, right? Because when we see things or we hear stories like this that inspire us, it gives us hope that we can all come together and really contribute to helping the world be its best, which is helping all of us be our best as well. So let me share a crystal of the week with you. I don't have an actual piece of it, but the crystal of the week this week is sodalite. It's Sodalite. Sodalite is a blue crystal, and it's really continue to stay awake. That's right. As a planet, as a species. Sodalite is a blue crystal. It's one of the uses is to contact your spirit guide. So I thought it would be a nice crystal to introduce you today in context of the story about my dog meeting his spirit guide in person. Sodalite also helps us be more intuitive, opens up spiritual insight, right, which helps us to connect with our spiritual team members. But it's also a very practical crystal. It helps us stand up for our beliefs, right, to be true to our beliefs, to stand up for ourselves. So, excuse me, I chose it because I was thinking of Ollie just being open-minded himself and being willing to connect with this spirit guide in this very intense way on the street. I mean, it's almost like that Star Trek Vulcan mind meld kind of thing. Just being willing to meet his guide, to talk about whatever it was that he was going through, and to have that support. Sodalite is good for courage and for calming the mind and letting new ideas in. So some really great ideas for you. In if you're looking, you can buy a little small pieces of all the crystals I talk about each week, and see if they work for you. The great thing about crystals is that there are multiple crystals for a particular issue. So if you're not drawn to one kind of, or one crystal, there may be another one. Like quartz is a good all-around crystal, but sodalite is great for spirit guides, for common sense, for courage, for being a calm mind, and emotional balance. So if you have panic attacks, sodalite is good to wear for that, and also for electromagnetic pollution. So you can keep one around your computer. So I want to thank you for joining us today. Yes, Joyanne, you're right. When we're quiet and listen, we can feel connected to anything out there. And that's one thing I appreciate about where I live, because every day I get to be by the ocean. This time of year, as it's getting darker and it's starting to rain here in Seattle, the summer people are gone, and there's more of the beach left for us who live here. I love sharing the beach with other people, but I don't mind when the crowds are gone at the end of the summer. So again, I want to thank you for joining me today. My radio show this afternoon at ohmtimes.com radio airs at 2 Pacific time, 5 Eastern. And today it's on when ghosts haunt our spaces. What does that mean? What are they? Do they haunt our spaces? So there'll be a lot more stories this afternoon on my radio show. Some really eye-opening stories about what goes on in what people think of as haunted spaces and what to do about it. So, so there's that. Let me see. There's some questions here or some comments that people have shared. So let me see what we've got here. Teresa, your mom died 4 years ago and we got a parrot. She used to feed the birds. She never missed a day. She laughed and said she would come back as a bird. And the first words the parrot says, "I'm stuck in this bird body." Teresa, that's a hilarious story. And it happens sometimes too. I had a client one time who knew I work with my dad, who has passed away, and he stays in the afterlife. And when I work as a medium to help people connect with their dead humans or animals, my dad will go get them and help us have a conversation. So we have a real conversation and we get closure. And there was a time when we were talking to a minister's father, and he's looking at my dad and he's going, "Well, you're helping your daughter. And what did I do? I decided to come back as a cat." My dad laughed and he said, "What's wrong with being a cat, right?" So Teresa, who knows? Maybe your mom did come back as a parrot, or maybe a parrot was having fun with you. But I appreciate the joy that's in your heart that you would share a great, cool story like that. And Diana, you meet humans and feel like you've known them. Oh, Diana, that's a really interesting question. So what Diana's saying is that she meets people, she feels like she knows them, and you feel instant love and communication, and you're wondering why you don't exchange information, and the eye contact is strong, and you're wondering if they are guides. They could be guides. The more frequent explanation, I think, in terms of my experience, is that you're meeting a soul that you've known in previous lifetimes, and that soul is back in a different body. It may be a soul family member, as we, yes, Teresa, thank you for sharing your cool story. Um, it's very cute, right? And I know it makes you feel better too about losing your mom, that, she could come back maybe and make that kind of comment. But just the fact that you loved your mom and you understood her and you connected with her and you're loving that story, it could be her way of telling you she's fine. She's okay too. So yes, Diana could be a soul group member. So we do move around in cycles in soul groups. Sometimes we reincarnate at the same time. That doesn't mean we ever meet each other. Sometimes we do. My first experience of that I really recall was I was in Italy and I met a nun, and she reacted to me like her eyes went wide and she knew who I was. And it was really fascinating experience. So it could be more likely that you're meeting soul group members, people that you've known in previous lifetimes. And they may have been friends or enemies or whatever in previous lifetimes. I would like to think that when we meet those people who were soul family members and we feel this connection, that it was a good time that we had with them in previous lifetimes. There's so much going on in the world, and has always gone on in the world, that I think we miss a lot. And so that's a great way for us to share stories here. Sharing the story about my dog will give you all kinds of ideas about connecting with your own spiritual team, or just appreciating those who are with you as family members, whether they're human or animal, friends, neighbors. Really, when we start recognizing that each of us has a soul connection to other beings, including spirit guides, how hard is it to create a beautiful world, right? Because we're all in it together. So for today, I'd like to thank you for joining me and joining each other here. Please call into my radio show this afternoon, share a story if you'd like. It's at 2 Pacific time, ohmtimes.com radio. We're talking about strange things that happen in our homes. Are they ghosts or something else? And you can find my website at robynfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. I offer personal and business intuition, mediumship, animal communication, space clearing, past life and between life regression through soul regression hypnotherapy, which is so awesome. People just tapping into their souls. It's so amazing. And a special process I call soul progression clearing, which just helps clear out whatever blocks there are, making no judgments about them, and helping fill you up with healthy, positive energy. How do you talk with an animal? Well, actually, the same way you talk with a spirit guide or anything else, just have a conversation with it. It's how your intuition works most strongly. So if you see pictures, you hear things talk with you, you feel feelings, or you just know things, that's the same way as you talk to an animal. It's the same way you talk to your spiritual team, or just tap in and use your intuitive and healing abilities. So if you appreciate these broadcasts, I would appreciate it if you liked here the Humanity Healing page, the Om Times page, my page, the Practical Intuitive Robyn M. Fritz. And of course, please contact me for one of my services at my website, robynfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. And again, thank you for being here today. So as we close out, close the connection to the crystal, let's cross our hands on our hearts. And Charlene, people who give their lives for others are more powerful than we think. This is true. We do the best we can, and sometimes in an emergency, we go beyond that, and we're grateful for people for caring for other people. So cross your hands on your heart and just breathe in healthy, positive energy. And just take a deep breath and feel yourself getting grounded and balanced back in your body. And if you have topics you'd like me to share with you or questions, always connect with me. Again, liking my Facebook page, The Practical Intuitive, letting me know if you'd like one of my services. All those are great ways of staying in touch. But I will see you next Monday at 11 Pacific time here. And also please join my radio show this afternoon, call in. And I do take quick questions for intuitive insight, but you can also share your story. So thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you next week. Take care.